guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Wabosha. Welcome to the Slay Squad. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how you can use one palette for your entire face of makeup. And this is just because makeup can get really expensive. So I'm just going to show you that you don't necessarily need to buy everything at once. You can just buy one thing and then use it for multiple purposes. So the palette that I'm going to be using today is this one, and this is the Beauty Creations 35 Pro Color Palette, and mine is the ruby one, and I was actually sent this palette by Makeup Addictions KE, so thank you guys so much. But I have to put a disclaimer out there. It doesn't mean that just because the company sent me this, I'm going to be here and say that it's such a lovely palette, and it's not. I'm going to give you guys my 100% honest opinion on this palette. So I want to show you guys how the palette looks inside. And this is how it looks like. I've not yet even removed the paper because it's so nice and clean and I didn't want to ruin it, but this is how it looks like. These are all the colors that are inside, and it is a perfect dupe for the Morphe 35O palette. In case you don't have that palette and you want to save some money, because this palette is cheaper than the Morphe one, at least here in Kenya it is. So you can get this one if you feel like the Morphe one is a bit too expensive. And yeah, this will kind of be a first impressions kind of video, because as you can see, the palette is clearly unused. So I'm going to start off with my eyebrows first, and I'm just going to comb them into position before I start filling them in. And what I want to do is I'm going to outline my eyebrows using my eyebrow pencil. This is the Davis in the number 003. And I'm going to outline them first, and then I'm going to use an eyeshadow to fill them in. So this is the eyeshadow that I'm going to be using, this brown one right here, just because it looks the closest to this pencil. And I know this can be done like entirely only with the powder, but I've never done it before and I don't want to do it for the first time on camera, so I'm just going to stick with outlining it with the pencil, and then I'm going to fill it in with the powder. This is how the eyebrows look with just the outline, and I know it looks a bit crazy right now, but we're going to fix it. So I'm going to use this powder. I'm just going to take some of it on the angled brush, and then I'm going to use that to fill in the blank areas of my eyebrow. So this is the eyebrow, and it definitely looks much softer than filling it in with the pencil. So maybe for an everyday look this will be perfect. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this other eyebrow, and then I'm going to clean it up around with some concealer, and then I'll be right back. So this is how the eyebrows have come out, and I actually really do like it. I think it is much more natural than when I just use the pencil alone, so I'm definitely going to be doing this again. The only thing is that I was a bit scared to go in with only the eyeshadow alone for the entire brow, because like I said, it's something that I had never done before, but next time I'll definitely give it a try. So the other thing that I received is this eyeshadow primer from City Color. And I've always shied away from primers that appear white on the skin, so this is going to be interesting to try out. So I've just put some of it on my finger, and I'm going to dab that on my lid. So I've come to accept the fact that I'm going to look crazy for most of this video, but it's okay. Moving on to eyeshadow, I'm going to use this brown right here just because it's closest to my skin tone, and I'm going to use this to blend the transition between my eyebrows and the primer. Next transition color that I'm going to use is this orange shade right here, and I'm just going to place this above my crease. Decided that I want to deepen that orange just a tiny bit, so I'm going to go into this other one right here, and I'm going to take majority of this one and then mix it in with like one dab of this using the same brush, and then I'm just going to go again on top of my crease. I'm using a smaller blending brush and this dark brown color right here, and then I'm going to go right into my crease in there, and this is where I'm going to use it just to deepen the crease a bit. So now for my outer V, I'm going to use this same brown that I used on my eyebrows, and I'm just going to place that right on the outer corner. I'm going to use my Eyeshadow concealer in the shade Fawn and a flat brush just to clean up my lid a bit. So now for my shimmer color, I'm going to go in with this shade right here, and I'm just using the same flat brush that I used to clean up my lid, and I'm going to use this all over my lid. It's not really showing up as bright as I expected it to be, so I'm going to go in with this shadow right here, and I'm just going to add that on top. Now for that seamless transition, I'm going in with the same crease brush that I used, and I'm going to just blend. Next, I'm just going to line my upper and lower waterline with this pencil right here. So just to save a bit of time, I went ahead and put on my lashes off camera, and now we can move on to the face. And I'm starting with the Eyeshadow concealer and the orange corrector, and I'm using this to correct the dark circles underneath my eyes. Show you guys a little trick that I learned a few days ago, and I'm going to go in with this eyeshadow brush that we used, the one that we used with the orange, and I'm going to take this orange color right here, and I'm going to use this to set that orange corrector. So I did lie a bit. It's not going to be the entire face using this palette, just because I'm not really sure how I'm supposed to do foundation and the highlight with an eyeshadow palette. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to link my foundation routine down below in the description bar, just in case you've not seen the video yet. And then I'm going to do this off camera. I'm going to do foundation, and I'm going to be using my Black Opal foundation in the shade Truly Topaz, and then I'm going to highlight using Warm Honey from the Eyeshadow concealers, and then I'll be right back. So now as I bake, I'm going to show you guys how to finish the rest of the face using this palette. So the first thing that we're going to do is contouring, and if you want to contour with a powder, the one thing that you need to remember is that you need to use a cool toned brown. So the cool toned browns that I can see in this palette are like this one and this one. This one also looks a bit cool toned, so I'm just going to use the one that looks most cool toned, and it is, I think, either this one or this one according to me. So I'm just going to go in with I can't decide. I'm going to use this one. I'm going to use this one and this angled brush right here, and this is what I'm going to use to contour my face. So the reason that you want to use a cool toned brown is just so that there is that shadow underneath there, so that when you contour you want to create an illusion of that shadow. And now I'm just going to blend it out. So as you can see, there's that shadow down there, and that is how you want to contour with the powder. You want to make sure it looks as if there is a shadow, but you want to really blend it out well. So now to help put in more color into my face, I'm going to bronze, and this is just going to also help blend out that contour a bit. So now when you're bronzing, you want to use a more warm brown, and the warm browns that I see in this palette are like this one, and this one, and this one over here are also very warm toned. So I'm just going to use this one right here on the bottom corner, and I'm going to go this over the contour and around my face. This is how the contour looks like, and as you can see, it's very nice and blended, and it's even softer as compared to using a cream contour. So yeah, that is how it looks like. And what I'm going to do now is wipe off the powders off my face, and then I'm going to come back and we can do the blush together. So this is my face after wiping off all the powder, and now we can move on to blush. And I want to try do an orange blush with this look, so I'm going to go into this orange right here and dab off the excess, and then I'm just going to use that on my cheeks. So now that is a lot of powder products that we have used on the face. So I'm just going to spray my face a bit with the rose water to help soak in some of that powder. And then now we're going to move on to highlight, and I'm going to use this palette as well to highlight my face. And I'm going to look for a nice gold shade, like this gold right here. And I'm just going to use this on the inner corners of my eyes. And then also, before the rose water dries up completely, I'm going to use that on my cheeks as well, using this fan brush. For my lips, I want to go with something very red and bright, so I'm going to be using the Huda Matte Liquid Lipsticks in Luscious Red. So that is it for this first impression / tutorial, and my final thoughts on this palette is that it's great. The pigmentation is actually really beautiful, but the one thing that I do have to say is that it's not a complete dupe for the Morphe 35O palette as I thought. Now that I have used it, I think that the matte shades are a complete dupe. Like, you can find everything in the Morphe 35O palette here, but for the shimmer shades, they do look like a dupe, but then once you apply them on, they don't apply the same way as the 35O palette shows up. But the other thing is that that's not actually really such a bad thing, because say like the 35O palette does not have this color right here, this shimmer shade, which I think is very beautiful. The 35O palette also doesn't have a shade like this one. Like, when you look at it, looks exactly the same as the one that's in the 35O palette, but once you swatch it, it's completely different. This one has like some pinks and purples, and it almost looks holographic in person, so it's very pretty. So the fact that it's not a complete dupe isn't really a bad thing. So yeah, I'd recommend this palette, and it's a beautiful palette. I guess that's all I have to say. That's it for this week's video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and if you're new to this channel, please subscribe down below for new videos every Mondays and Thursdays. Always remember to work hard and have good intentions. Until next time, bye!